You know, for decades, there was one thing you could pretty much always count on in the tech world. The computer memory market would boom, and then it would bust. It was like clockwork. But what if that clock is broken for good? We might be in a totally new era, a structural reset of the entire market, and it's all thanks to the relentless march of AI. So let's dig into what this memory supercycle is all about. So let's just start with that big question. What if that boom and bust cycle, the one that's basically defined computer memory forever, what if it's just done? What if this isn't just another temporary spike, but a permanent shift to a whole new reality? That's the core question we're going to tackle.
This slide right here, it nails the core of this whole shift. On the left, you've got the old world. Simple, predictable. Memory was just a commodity, and its demand went up and down with PC and phone sales. But on the right, that's the new reality. It's this constant upward pressure from AI, where memory isn't a simple component anymore. It's the strategic bottleneck. It's the one thing holding everything back.
All right, so let's talk about AI's insatiable appetite. And I mean insatiable. We're about to look at the forces that aren't just bending the old rules, they are absolutely shattering them and rewriting the economics of this whole industry. Okay, it all starts with this number. And honestly, it's just staggering. The biggest names in tech, the hyperscalers, are on track to pour over $700 billion into AI infrastructure by 2026. This isn't just a spending spree, it's like a capital fire hose just blasting away, and it's creating this solid concrete floor for memory demand. Okay, now this next part is super important if you really want to get why this shortage is so intense. It's something called the HBM cannibalization effect. Think of it this way. To make one of those super high-performance HBM chips for AI, you use up the same amount of factory space it takes to make 3 regular memory chips. So every time an AI chip gets made, it's like 3 consumer chips just vanish from the supply line. AI is literally eating the consumer market's lunch. And look, this demand isn't just a straight line up. No, it's accelerating like a rocket. This timeline shows you just how relentless this is. In 2024, you've got the Hopper chip needing about 141 gigs of HBM. Fast forward to 2026, just 2 years later, and the next-gen Rubin platform is expected to need almost 300 gigs. That's more than doubling the memory needed for a single chip in just a couple of years. It's insane. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The experts, the industry analysts, they're all saying the same thing. This quote really sums it up. As long as the big tech companies are locked in this AI arms race, there's no way for memory prices to go down. The demand is just that overwhelming. But you knew there was a but, right? Every supercycle has its kryptonite. So what could possibly stop this runaway train? Well, there are 2 really big existential risks that could bring this whole thing crashing down. Risk number 1 is all about the money. It's called the Capex cliff. I mean, after you've burned through hundreds of billions of dollars, your investors are eventually going to start asking, okay, where's the return? If these companies can't show that their huge AI bets are actually making money, that spending could just stop, like overnight. And the second risk, it's a tech one. See, this whole supercycle, this entire shortage, is all built on one single idea, that AI is a total memory hog. But what if that changes? What if some genius comes up with a software breakthrough that makes AI way, way more efficient? That could completely change the game, and it could happen in a flash. And listen, this isn't some sci-fi fantasy. It's already happening. Microsoft's BitNet model, for example, shows it might be possible to slash memory needs by a mind-boggling 32 times. If a technology like that really takes hold, poof, the memory shortage could literally evaporate. So, there you have it. You've got this incredible, massive demand on one side, and on the other, these 2 giant risks that could blow it all up. So how does this battle play out? Well, let's break down the 3 most likely futures for the memory market. All right, this table lays it all out pretty clearly. Let's start with the bear case on the left. This is where that efficiency breakthrough like BitNet really happens. You could see a massive 40% price drop. Ouch. Now flip over to the bull case on the right. Here, demand is so off the charts that the biggest problem isn't even making chips, it's finding enough electricity to power the data centers. That leads to sustained price hikes. And then, right in the middle, you have our base case. Things cool off a little, but it's still an incredible market. We're talking maybe $100 billion in operating income for a big player like SK Hynix. Not too shabby. Okay, and this is where the rubber really meets the road. This table translates those abstract scenarios into what they could mean for actual stock prices. And the numbers are wild. Just look at a company like Micron. The difference between the bull and bear cases is huge. We're talking about a potential leap from its current price to over $1,100 in the bull scenario, or a brutal drop down to $230 if the bear case plays out. The stakes here are just incredibly high. So, the big question is, which future are we heading towards? This isn't about guessing or trying to read a crystal ball. It's about knowing exactly what signs to look for.
You can think of this slide as your personal dashboard for the memory supercycle. We're keeping our eyes on 4 key signals. First, what are the hyperscalers saying in their Capex reports? Are they still throwing money at this, or are they pulling back? Second, HBM4 manufacturing yields. This is all about supply. Can the factories even produce enough of this next-gen memory? Third, are companies actually using those hyper-efficient AI models like BitNet in the real world? And finally, a really interesting one, global data center power. Are we literally running out of electricity to power this expansion? These 4 things right here, they're going to tell us the whole story.
So at the end of the day, as we watch all these signals, we're doing more than just tracking a market. We're really trying to answer the biggest question of all. Is what we're seeing just another temporary, speculative tech bubble that's going to pop? Or are we watching in real time the permanent foundation of the entire AI economy being built? The answer to that question is going to define the next decade of technology.